Welcome to Secrets of a Bridal Seamstress podcast, where we hear stories from fellow seamstresses just like you. We're able to share their success stories. We learn from wedding industry pros for the best business tips, and we get to hear from fellow sewists and crafters to hopefully inspire our creativity and our love for sewing. I'm so glad that you're here. And if you're a bridal seamstress, I'd also like to invite you to check out our Bridal Seamstress business membership. We have a community of women that can testify to the power of genuine connection, friendship, vulnerability, the power of our six-figure seamstress method, and a genuine connection found in a business mentorship like this. All right, let's dive into the episode. Hey friends, welcome back to Secrets of a Bridal Seamstress podcast. Before we dive into today's episode, I wanted to give a special shout out to our listeners in the UK. Do you know that you are like the number 2 represented country in all of our listeners? That's incredible. So like the US is number 1, UK is number 2, and I will say it is a close second. And I am so appreciative of your support and for your listenership. I don't know if that is a word, but what I want to do is create a special branch of our Secrets of Bridal Seamstress membership just for you, because I know that the time zone is kind of tricky, and maybe more importantly, you feel like, okay, I'm hopping on a call and I don't have many local peers on this call, so I don't know if this is really relevant to me. I hear you, because we've had several members kind of come in and out because of that reason. So what we're going to be doing is having a special beta group for our UK listeners from September through December. We're going to have a bonus call every month with a special time just for you. We're going to see if this works. If it feels like, I don't know, it still feels kind of weird, it can be a wash, but I want to invite you to commit to the membership for 4 months. You'll still have access to all of our previous trainings, our circle account, all of the chats that happen with all of our members worldwide, but you will have the benefit of this bonus call exclusively for you and for those in your time zone. I know that there's just a difference in the kind of clients that you're working with, the trends that you're seeing, both like physically with gowns and also the wedding trends or the expectations. And so I want to serve you where you are. And I think this is going to be a really fun experiment. So there will be a link in the show notes if you're interested in signing up for this, like I said, a little beta membership launch just for you. Sign up and I'll send you all the information that you need. And I hope to see you in September. Okay, for the rest of you listeners, that's right, our membership is opening back up in mid-September. I'm so excited, and we are celebrating the opening with a free webinar. Currently, we're still voting on the topic, okay? So if you're on my email list, you've been voting that way. On social media, I'm setting up different things because I want to hear exactly what it is that you would like help with in your business. I want this webinar to be like super helpful for you and just a fun kickoff to fall. I feel like this time of year, we're all really tired, right? We're at the 9th inning of the wedding season, and so we need that extra push to get through fall. So that is what I'm hoping that this webinar will be for you. Just a chance to be really encouraged. If you have any questions about the membership, obviously reach out between now and September 14th when the doors open. Obviously after that you can reach out too, but because we're anticipating the launch even more so, all the more reason for you to reach out to me. Okay. Let's go ahead and dive into today's topic. If you remember last week's episode, I shared a kind of embarrassing story with you about a recent bride that I had here in my local business. If you take anything away from that episode, I hope you come away with 2 things. Number 1, knowing that all of us still make mistakes. We've never come so far as to not need help or not need to learn anymore. So we're always going to be growing and evolving and making ourselves better for our clients. So you're not alone, number 1, if you're making a mistake. And number 2, I hope you heard how important it is to be honest with yourself when you have a difficult situation like that. Because if I wasn't honest with myself or with my team to talk about kind of all the little ways that we dropped the ball for this bride, like starting with that first appointment when I was like, you're my best friend, we wouldn't have been able to grow, because it would have been easier to be like, ugh, whatever, that was just a one-off thing. Let's just keep doing what we're doing. So the honesty is so important for a growth mindset. I see this so much within our membership, and especially when I'm working with women one-on-one with coaching calls. Often we talk about something called limiting beliefs, and those can be instilled in us unintentionally by other people or intentionally by other people. And they're just false beliefs that we need to break. So the first thing is acknowledging that those are false beliefs before we're able to break them and then build truth in the place of where they lived in our minds. But unfortunately, sometimes we also tell ourselves the lies, okay? So that can be really difficult with clients, is helping them identify what lies they may have been subconsciously telling themselves, how to even identify what the lies are, help them being honest with themselves in their business, so that way we can just build onto something better and replace maybe that unintentional dishonesty with awesome, exciting, motivating truths. Yeah, it's the best part of my job. Okay, but being honest with yourself is hard and it's uncomfortable sometimes. And I think, because I was thinking a lot about this, like the concept of honesty, and nobody wants to say I'm dishonest, whether, even if it is just with yourself. But when we are the business owner and we are the ones responsible for every micro decision that has brought us to this point, it's hard to not just tell ourselves, oh, everything's good. Because the alternative is to admit that we've done something wrong somewhere along the way, or that we could be doing something better now to create a different outcome for our business. It's easier to think, okay, we're all good. This is as good as it gets for me. This is as good as it gets for her. No matter what we're seeing on Instagram, everybody in this business is experiencing the same thing, and there's really no way to make it any better. That can be self-soothing. That can be kind of a cop-out a little bit. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Because the opposite is to acknowledge where we can grow, how we can grow. And if, option C is we have no idea if we are stuck in dishonesty, that we actually need help to get out of it. So this episode might make you feel a little bit uncomfortable. I think I'm okay with that, because I would rather have you be honest with yourself exactly where you are in your business right now, as opposed to just kind of going through the motions and setting yourself up for the same experience next wedding season because you didn't give yourself a fair shot to be honest with yourself. There are 3 areas in a business that I see this most often with women. So number 1, money, right? You knew that was coming. More specifically, the difference between their revenue and their actual take-home pay, because they can look at their Square account or whatever CRM they're using and they see this big number coming in. But then they could say, okay, well, I got $100K last year, but then it's, okay, how much did you pay in taxes? And what was your tax prep actually like? And have we talked about an S Corp title? And what are you doing to invest your money? How are you managing your money? What are you paying for in your business that maybe you don't actually need? There was recently a client who was paying the website manager $450 a month to manage a website that I'm like, really? How often are you actually updating this website? Never, right? So that should not be a monthly fee. So helping you break down the money, I love that part. So that's number 1. I feel like I kind of got ahead of myself talking about that first point, but that is the first point. Let me see, I wrote it down. Number two is the hustle, or like why I don't see as many clients as I want to see. I think a lot of times seamstresses, because we're so busy with the sewing work, it can be easy to not think about how much we're not doing to promote our business. So if a woman comes to me and we're like doing one-on-one coaching, or she's, just in a membership call and she's talking about how she's not busy, and it's like, nobody's calling me and I'm not getting as many referrals as everybody else. Okay, then what are you actually doing? Did you go into that bridal shop once? Okay. Did you comment on something on Instagram of theirs once? Did you make one post about, yourself and your studio space, and you expect brides to find you off of that one post? What are you actually doing, and are you honest about what the hustle is to get those clients? And then the third thing, this is a good one, is the experience that we're actually providing for our clients. And this lands when a bride has a difficult experience with you, or heaven forbid the dress isn't awesome, the sewing work isn't great, or they're unhappy. It's easier to just assume it's all about the bride than to take any accountability. But it doesn't have to be something that dramatic. It could also be something like, how are they experiencing a fitting? What does your house smell like? Is your studio clean? Like all of these little things that we can talk through, right? So for the remainder of this episode, I just want to talk through each of these topics that again, frequently come up with the women that I'm coaching, and maybe save you some coaching money. I don't know. Maybe you can just kind of think about this on your own and save you some time and energy as you go into the 2027 season, just by giving yourself some honest feedback. Is this the reality that I've created for myself, or is this just the story that I'm telling myself, and I'm willingly believing it. Okay. So number one, let's talk about money. The lies around money have no end. Okay. So number one, you could be telling yourself that you're charging enough. You could be telling yourself there's no way to make an honest or a fair living. I don't know what an honest living is. Does that mean that you're not cheating? I don't know, but I shouldn't have said honest living, but I feel like everybody says that phrase. Okay. I digress. So you might have this idea in your head that nobody can make good money as a bridal seamstress, and anybody who's posting about like making six figures or more, or like multiple six figures, they're lying or they're cheating. And if I can't do it, there's no way they can do it. I know a few people who have that mindset. They can't do it, so they're just going to prove that everybody else is a liar. Okay. Well, it can be done. I'm here to tell you that. But to be honest with yourself, you might want to actually take a look at your, number one, your own pricing. That's a great place to start. What kind of clients you're allowing in the door, how much work you're actually bringing in, because if you feel like you're just stretched so thin, yeah, you may be feeling like your work literally isn't worth a higher ticket. So now you're overbooked and you're underpaying yourself. Another lie that you can get in your head is that once you have that revenue stream, you're set. Okay, I made the goal, the money goal. I reached six figures, and I don't really need to look at the numbers because I know what's coming in through Square. I see the number that I want. I don't really know what happens when it hits my bank account. Well, now it's time to be honest with ourselves, because some of you might be like laughing at that because you know how quickly the money does go out the door. And sometimes it can feel painful to spell out every single avenue that we're sending our money, right? Where do all the dollars go? It can be hard to list that out and then acknowledge how many subscriptions we actually have. Or, when we're so proud of this number that we finally achieved, and then you see how quickly it goes out the door. Yeah, it takes honesty with ourselves to think, okay, I have to manage my money better. Maybe I have to really focus on, okay, do I want to be saving this year? Do I need to be investing back in the business? Again, I'm going to say this. Do I need to be raising my prices or adding fitting packages to raise just that revenue? What is my accountant really doing? I've had this conversation with several of our members just this past year. Okay, is this really the best accountant for you? Because there are so many creative ways to save money on taxes or to prepare better for tax season so you're not caught off guard. So all of these things, figuratively and literally, they all add up. So being honest with your numbers can feel very uncomfortable in the moment, but what it actually does is it empowers you. When you look at any successful business owner or you look at any millionaire, they know their numbers in their small business. If you look at somebody who took an idea and from just this little idea grew this multi-million-dollar business, it's not just by chance. It's not just, okay, if we charge enough, then we're going to be making the money that we want to make and we're going to be able to support the lifestyle that we want. No, everything is thought through and planned. And I think because of us as bridal seamstresses, we do have that DIY mindset and, also that creative side of our brain that it's like, we can just figure it out. It's all going to work out. Number one, with the DIY, we don't want to outsource accountants or people who can actually help us with money. And number two, our willy-nilly creative side can take over and it can be a dangerous combo. So I know that I mentioned this, I think earlier, gosh, it's August now. It was the beginning of the year when I talked about contacting a financial advisor and just how important that is to be honest with yourself that you're not the best to manage your money. You're not the best to walk yourself through how to save money or what your prices should be set at or what your financial goals should be. And that's okay because there are professionals all around the world who do know that topic so well and you can ask for help. But knowing your numbers and being honest with yourself about exactly where every dollar is going will only empower you and help you make even better decisions for your business moving forward. You're going to be just more well-informed. It's a win-win. So let's be honest with your numbers of how much is actually coming in the door, how much you're actually spending, and is there wiggle room to change your prices a little bit, tweak them for 2027, or honestly, are you at the point where you have to totally revamp the way that you have been charging for alterations? So we can all have different reasons of why we're like lying to ourselves about money. And I think it's pretty obvious. I think the money one is the most obvious, right? We want to feel like we're successful. So that is not abnormal. And if you are about to look at your numbers and all of a sudden you feel really sad and you're like, why am I just totally resisting this? You're not a weirdo, okay? Everybody wants to feel like the business that they started is successful and worth the effort, okay? So don't feel like a weenie if you're in that position. A few years ago, this was a few years ago now, we had one of our retreat attendees. I had a one-on-one call with her. So I knew all of her numbers. I knew her business goals before the retreat. They're not a member. That was kind of before we switched the retreats to be for members only because of kind of situations like this, I guess. This is one of the several reasons why we switched that model. Anyway, so I had this one-on-one call with them. I know what their numbers are. Obviously, I knew what their goals were. And then we're in a group setting talking about, I think it was like invoicing and it was supposed to be a very empowering conversation. This individual, they weren't rude, but they were lying, okay? So they started talking about their experience, their average ticket, how much money they make every year. And I'm sitting there thinking, this is not even, you haven't even had a full year in business. And of course, I'm not going to react because the one-on-one calls are confidential and I didn't want, and I still don't want anybody who was there to know what I knew and all that stuff. But in the moment I was thinking, okay, they just want to tell themselves that they are at the same level as other attendees. And they also want to tell other attendees that they're not only at the same level, they're at a higher level and they're here to educate everybody else, right? So it's like I could kind of see in that moment what their story was that they were telling themselves and what they wanted others to believe about them. And when it comes to money, they're not alone in that because it's natural for us to want to convince ourselves that we're maybe in a more advanced place than we are, and we want to convince other people that too. And if you are planning to attend Fall Fest as a member, you know that's not the spirit that we have within SBS. It's kind of like the more honest that we can be with one another, the more we can absorb in our trainings and the more we can grow with that honesty. So if you are feeling this way about your money, don't worry, you're not alone, but let's still be honest and fix it, okay? So number 2, the hustle. What are you actually doing to get brides in the door? If you're feeling like you're not booked and you're not as full as you'd want to be and you're like, I'm a couple years in and I don't know why the brides aren't banging on my door. Let's talk about what you're actually doing. Because again, how many times have I worked with women that are like, I did go into the bridal store. And I'm like, when? And they're like, last Christmas, I brought Christmas cookies. It's like, okay, it's September. So it's been, 9 months. They don't remember you, whatever. And then we talk about, okay, interacting with their social media page or just building a relationship. When I tell our members or my coaching clients to build a relationship with their local bridal stores, with local wedding vendors, build your wedding network. That is so important. What it does not mean is just follow them on social media or like comment on their stuff. That's not going to build a network. That's just scrolling. That's dishonest with yourself if that's what you think that you're doing is building a network by liking somebody's post. It's not. What you got to do is put yourself out there. And I know it's hard and it takes effort and it's sometimes embarrassing and sometimes people don't call you back and sometimes they don't like you and sometimes you don't like them. And so, okay, invite the next person. Plan the dinner dates. Get the coffee dates on the calendar. Hey, I'm a bridal seamstress. I know that you're like a local photographer. You want to go for a coffee walk sometime and just talk about what your clients have been like this year? Whenever I reach out to a wedding vendor with literally that script, it's always a yes because they always want to talk about their clients. Everybody has a hard story that they want to know that they're not alone in. So if you approach another wedding vendor or the wedding store owner or something and just be like, hey, it's been a crazy season. You want to get together and celebrate and maybe we can swap some stories. That's an instant win. Okay. That's how you start building your network. Literally, I just did that Friday night. So one of my friends invited me to this line dancing class at my gym and I reluctantly went, but it was actually super fun. And it was like Zumba and line dancing together and it was really fun. And then as we were leaving, I saw a wedding planner that she had started her wedding planning business and then she had kids. So she took a break and now she's trying to get back into it. And I was like sweaty, she was sweaty, but we still stopped and talked. And then I was like, hey, do you want to get together? And, I know a lot of other, but I can get some other wedding vendors together. We can do dinner. She's like, yeah. Okay. So you know what I did? Literally the next morning, I sent her a message on Instagram and I'm like, send me some dates. What could work for you? I'm more free mid-September. And she's like, great, me too. So that is how you do it. No, fill in the blank with whatever vendor you want to connect with, but it takes intention and time and rejection to make those connections happen. And we've been talking about this so much in the membership about how we don't want to be depending on a bridal shop for the referrals. We want our Google reviews to speak for themselves. We want those word of mouth referrals to spread. We want all of our brides to tell their friends about us. So if you're in a slump, how about a referral program? Or just, hey, if you tell a bride to work with me, and you don't even have to be in a slump. I still do this. There's a little referral perk that I have for brides, and I am booked out. I'm booked out, whatever, for the next, I'm booked out till 2027, okay? But I'm still doing referral perks because it's number one, telling my clients, I totally appreciate the fact that you value me and that you believe in what I do and you're telling your friends to come to me. Thank you. It's not a desperate measure, but it's a thank you to your existing clients. And it's also a great way to attract the clients that you truly want to work with. So a referral program would be a great idea. What other ways can you hustle? We've talked in the membership about having something similar to a resume, and I have a template for it, and we just send it out to other wedding vendors so that there's it's almost like a portfolio of your work and who you are and some references and whatever. There are so many ways to get out there. And I think a lot of seamstresses, especially in their first couple of years, they kind of have this, if I build it, they will come mindset. And unfortunately in 2026, it doesn't work that way because there are so many different avenues for brides to find their wedding vendors. And so they're going to find the ones who are easy to find. Okay. They might not be the best out there. They might not be the most quality seamstresses, but if they're easy to find, that's who they're going to book. So get yourself easy to find. Okay. Put yourself out there more. And if you want an extensive list of how to grow your referrals or, grow your local network, DM me and I would be happy to give you more ideas because I love this topic and the episode, we're already running at 25 minutes. So I want to keep moving, but be honest with yourself. Are you actually putting in the work or are you a victim? I don't think you're a victim. Okay. I really think there is other work to be done. I really feel like there's other ways for you to get your name in the community. And this leads me to my next point. Are you honest about the experience that you're giving your brides? That also might be why you're not growing. Okay. You're like, she wore the dress on her wedding day. Why am I not growing? Well, I don't know. Were you rude when you worked with her, or were you difficult? Was it just not a fun experience? Was the work not awesome? I don't know. And again, I know I'm kind of being a little maybe more gruff than normal, but these are the questions that we have to be asking ourselves, right? Especially when we work by ourselves and we're our only accountability sometimes. It's like, what is the product that we are sharing with clients and is it worth them telling their friends about? This can be solved. Don't worry. If you feel like actually maybe I have just been kind of going through the motions, or I've been doing this so long that I haven't really taken a step back to think, what is this experience like? It's kind of like I've talked about this before. If you have a website and you think it's the bee's knees and it's so easy to operate, ask your friend to try to fill out an inquiry form, or ask, a family friend to just peek around. And if they're like, I don't know where you're located, or how do I ask you to alter my gown? Have somebody else, go through a website to give you an objective opinion. What you want to do in your whole experience with brides is take a bird's eye view. What is it like when they first approach me? Do I respond to their email or do I take a week? And do I do that thing where it's like, I've been so busy, I'm about to catch up on my emails in 2 weeks. It's who feels special when you say something like that, and then when they come in for fittings, are you excited? Do you have cute little goodie bags for them? Is your studio clean? Does your house smell like bacon? That was such a thing that I was always so aware of when I worked out of my home. It's like we couldn't eat. There was no eating for 48 hours before a bride came in because it's like, heaven forbid, the house smelled like something fried or savory. No, absolutely not. But okay, that was extreme. But even if you do work at a studio, it can still smell weird. You know what I'm saying? Just be aware of these things. Do you have music in the background? Does it feel welcoming? When a bride walks in, do you stop and welcome them in and make eye contact? Are you easy to communicate with, or do they have to wait days to hear from you? And I know that I can still struggle with this during busy season where I'm like, okay, especially if they want to reschedule. I'm like, girl, you do not even know what you're asking me. But okay, I'm going to make this work, So think about what the whole experience is. And you know what? If they're complaining about an alteration that went south, are you honest with yourself about if it actually went south? Sometimes they do, okay? And it's okay to be honest about it, because then you can make it better for this current bride, and then you can make it better for the next bride. And this summer alone, I've heard of a few horror stories. And I think the worst part of these horror stories is hearing how the seamstresses are not admitting that they messed up. And it's like, that's called gaslighting. Or don't you have integrity? Don't you want to provide a service and a product that's worth the money that they're spending on alterations? What? So be honest with yourself, and the only ego or the only person that's going to be hurt in this process of being honest about the whole experience that you're providing is you. Your ego is the only thing at stake here, okay? Nobody else is going to hurt from this thing, from this self-reflective experiment or whatever. So just do it, because it's going to sting maybe, or you can have a few clients that maybe you feel really close with, or I just had a bride. It was a really good friend's daughter. And so I want to kind of interview her about the whole process because, and of course, the first thing she's going to say is, oh my gosh, she was amazing. But I want to hear kind of the honest details from her, because if I know what questions to ask, that's what I want to hear. Truly, what was this experience like? And tell me, how do I make it better? Do you ever ask clients that? I mean, like I said, maybe it could sting temporarily, but then what you're doing is you're creating a dream experience for next year's clients. And that's such a gift, to have the freedom to make yourself better for the next person, right? And it's easy for us to get in this routine because we do the same thing day in, day out, season after season, the same routine. Okay, we're going to have the same gifts. This is what the contract is. This is my spiel. This is the scent that I use for my Scentsy melt or whatever. Maybe it's time to upgrade some things, okay? But you got to be honest with yourself about it. Otherwise, it's like you're going to be doing the same thing for the next 30 years, even if it's not working for clients. And you're going to wonder why, others are getting more bookings than you, or you're not enjoying the work as much because your brides aren't enjoying it as much. Doesn't it go back and forth? Like when they're happy, you're happy. When you go the extra mile to make them feel so special, doesn't that feel so good? So just be honest with yourself about what kind of experience you're actually providing for these brides, right? So if you're going to do this little experiment and get honest with yourself, let me know the results. Now I'm invested. Okay, so you can DM me if you're on my email list. You can hit reply to any email and I read those things. But just be in touch, because I would like to hear if this resonated with you and if there's anything in your business or your money or your hustle that you were able to improve. And I'd love to learn about that. September 14th, our SPS membership opens again. And I'm going to be honest with you now, okay? If you don't have time for it, or if you don't have time to dig into your business this season, don't join. If you are like, oh, I've always kind of wanted to check it out, but I don't really have time, but I'm just going to check it out. Don't join. And here's why. When you join because you just want to take a peek around or see what it's about or give it a shot, and then you don't actually do anything, it will be very disappointing for you. I can't really sugarcoat that. It's designed for members to invest in. And it's designed so that you take away what you put in. I don't know if this is creepy or not, but we keep track of every meeting that every member attends, right? So every training, we have an attendance log. And that is really helpful for me because sometimes I'm like, okay, this person's usually super active and they haven't been on calls. So that tells me she's really overwhelmed or busy, or maybe something's going on. So then I can check in, and it's not like where are you? I'm checking in on you. But it's more of like hey, I've noticed you're kind of quiet. And then usually what comes up is, oh my gosh, I'm so overwhelmed, or oh, my mom has been really sick, or whatever. So that's why we do it. And it also helps too when we have members who step away, and that happens. You're not locked in for life, right? So when you do choose to leave membership freely, that's fine. We have an exit statement or whatever. Like, why did you leave, essentially? And sometimes it's like, oh, things are really crazy in my personal life right now. That's happening to one of my good friends. And so I'm like, girl, just come back when you can. And I know she will, And then others, like I mentioned at the beginning of the episode, we've had several members from the UK who've tried to join, and they're like, it's just not really translating. I really need people from my own community. So, okay, I hear that. And then sometimes people will be like, I just didn't see any change in my business, or I thought I was going to see more results. And I'm like, okay, I'm looking at your attendance log, and you came to the first call and you've been here for 6 months, and that's it. And you don't chat in our community chat, and you don't participate. And so what do you want us to do for you? You know what I'm saying? That's where the honesty piece comes in. If you don't have time to attend the calls, that's fine. Don't join yet. Join when it's like, I have time for this and I'm going to invest at least the first few months just to get locked in. I'm going to come to the new member calls. I'm going to participate in the live calls as much as I can and, come in the chat and be part of the group. And I want to do this thing. That's who I want, because that's who sees results. And that's what's more exciting for me. You know what I mean? When there's a member who I want to see you move the needle. I want to get those texts where it's like, oh my goodness, I applied this and look, my revenue just spiked. Or, oh my goodness, I actually started using a contract for the first time in 11 years. I love those wins. But in order to transform your business, you have to show up for yourself. And you have to show up for others. And when you don't do that, you're not going to experience the membership the way that it's intended to be experienced. Same thing with coaching. So with my coaching intake forms, now there's a few additional questions like, asking you, how much are you willing to invest in your coaching? Do you have time for this? Because if you don't have time, or if you're like, I'm going to hear what you have to say, but I don't really know if I'm going to do it. Don't worry. Let's put this, in the back burner till you're ready to commit, because I can only do so much if you only want to do so much. You know what I'm saying? And this happened, I don't know, a few years ago. I was coaching a woman and she was under the impression that I would just do everything for her. She thought I was going to write her copy or rewrite her website, website copy, or create her whole investment guide, or like all these things that I'm not going to do it for you. And things that you learn in the membership, we don't automatically do for you in your business. And there's a couple of reasons for that. Number one, the price point does not match those hours. Okay. And more importantly, what I want you to get from the membership is the tools to change and the tools to grow. So I'm going to tell you, here's the steps to do it. And I want you to feel excited to do it for yourself, because then that means once my time in your life is done, or once you feel like you're ready to move on from the membership or whatever, then you still have those tools to use. So it's way better of an investment than just paying somebody to do something for you. You know what I'm saying? And I will say, the women whose businesses have been transformed and whose lives have been transformed, they're the lifers. They're not going anywhere because they know that this works and they know how to work for themselves, right? I had another, so this was so sweet. We're talking about just the way that you experience the membership, and it's like what you put in is what you take away. I almost took a screen recording of this really sweet thread in our circle chat, but I'm like, oh, that's maybe exploitation. But there's this woman, we love her. She joined, I believe, last September, so a year ago. And she's so lovable because she's so active. She is on the calls, she's sharing insight, she's asking questions. In our circle chat, she is giving advice, asking questions. She's just present. And so when people kind of have a rough time, she expresses sympathy, or she tries to give feedback. Or just this past summer, she went through I shouldn't say difficult, but it was a lot. She moved her studio mid-season, and then the whole move had so many different setbacks, and she was going through, and she just showed up with this positive attitude. I don't know how. It's not that she's this cool, elusive girl, better than everybody, that's why everybody loves her. No, she just shows up. And we love her because of how she shows up for others, and she's so consistent. So anyway, a couple weeks ago, she posted, she was having a really rough day. Like, she was feeling overwhelmed. Don't we all? And she's like, hey, I just need some encouragement. That's literally all she said. And she posted this really funny picture of her. And the comment thread was so sweet, because so many people were like, oh my goodness, like giving her just the best encouragement and, hey, do you want to hop on a Zoom? I have a break in a couple hours. Do you want to have a coffee date over Zoom? I just want to talk to you and encourage you. Do you want my number? People were just offering in real time to make sure she was okay. And I was reading it and I'm like, okay, number one, this is what I love about our community. And number two, she's getting this feedback and all of this love because for the past year, she's been like loving on others and consistently showing up. And when you do that, that is how you build your community. And just like I mentioned when, with the number two, the hustle, are you really building a network or did you just comment once on an Instagram post? Same thing. Are you really building a community in here or did you just hop on one Zoom with your camera turned off? Your success in a coaching program or a membership like this hinges on your willingness to show up and participate and be honest with yourself in how you're actually showing up. I just want to encourage you with that. And I didn't mean to have that be like, don't join, but I wanted to tell you, these are the expectations because this is how the membership is set up for you to succeed. So I want you to have the right expectations when you're coming in. And I have expectations too, that you show up. And if you're not ready, you're not ready. And that's fine. And we always want the door to be open because there are seasons where you join, you're like, okay, I'm so excited. Da, da, da. And then when, you're a couple months in, you're like, okay, actually, I didn't think to actually block off time for these calls or to be a part of it. So this isn't working. So that's cool. That's fine. Come back when you do have time, but let's not make it about this not working for you or not. It doesn't work. It actually does work, but you have to do it, right? So think about it. If you have questions about what is the time commitment or is this really for me or this is where I am in my business, is this for me? Just DM me. Ask any questions because I'm here. I want to answer the questions. And even with new members, we just had a couple new members. They were messaging me and I was like, we're going to open, just come in now because whatever, a month early. And right away, they're asking a bunch of questions and they're like, sorry, I don't want to bombard you. I'm like, please do bombard me because this is telling me that you're plugging in and I want to help you plug in, so the questions are always good. Never feel weird reaching out with DMs or emails, whatever, because I'm the one who reads them and I want to help make this decision. So, all right, be honest with yourself and then let me know how that feels. I hope in the end it feels good, but it might feel a little sticky along the way. So, and if you're watching this on YouTube, I just want to give you a special shout out because I feel like you watched the sunset in my office. Usually I record in the morning and it's the weekend. I really wanted to get this episode out to you guys. I'm excited about this topic and especially the follow-up from last episode. So I had to record at night. And so you saw, now I'm like in the dark. So thanks for sticking around the whole time and let me know what you think about this topic. I want to hear what your takeaways were.